Doing this to the state of Arizona. Now, I realize that I sue Obama a lot. I try to sue him a couple of times before breakfast every morning. But they should not be doing this to the state of Arizona. They should be flying people back to the home of origin.
That was Arizona Attorney General Tom Horne. A growing crisis on our border. A surge of immigrants, many of them children, crossing into the country with no apparent end in sight. And now a Democratic lawmaker saying the migrants need to be deported to send a message. Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar says many of the migrant children's families paid thousands of dollars to smugglers to bring them here, and the only way to stop that flood is to ensure that Central American countries get the word that they will be sent home. Henry Cuellar is with me now in his first live interview since visiting that border in his home state. Sir, good morning to you, and thank you for your time today. What did you see down there? What stories did you hear? And then we'll get to the whole issue about why this is happening and how we stop it. I mean, it must break your heart to see these people coming over the way they do.
You know, when I talk to Border Patrol, some of them are former military, and when they say that no matter how tough you are, but to see young girls, young boys with no parents, ages 9, 10, 11, 12, coming in, traveling thousands of miles to get over here to the U.S., has to break your heart. So I spent time with the Border Patrol before the visit. I got to spend time with them. And one thing they said, which was very significant, this is the own Border Patrol that I sat with, both officers and the agents. They said, we cannot enforce ourselves out of this particular issue. So we got to do a lot more to support our men and women down there at the border.
But you know what the American people say, right? They look at this and they say the government has no desire to stop this flood. And the policies of the president and the administration have failed. And you yourself, a Democrat, has said our policy needs to change. Why doesn't it?
Well, first of all, I don't know. And the first thing I'll ask is the White House, the Homeland folks should head down there to the border, spend some time to see what I saw, and spend time with the Border Patrol agents, the men and women that are doing a great job on the field. If we don't change some of the policies, and I just sat for about an hour with the ambassador from Honduras talking about how we can get some of those kids back over there. How do we prevent them from being brought over here by the smuggling organizations, drug organizations? They're the same group. If we don't change policies and work with those countries south of the border, this wave of humanity is going to continue at great numbers.
I'll give you a number. In the next 2 years, they expect 250,000 more to cross. And they're coming into Texas because they know that's the easy route at the moment. So again, I ask you, why doesn't the president stop this?
It's a question you got to ask the president. I certainly want them to change the policy. If you look at the protocol that we have with Mexico, we have a good protocol. And I know they're right across the river. We got ports of entry. But with Mexico, we can do expedited removals. We can go ahead and do the voluntary removals. We can return people pretty quickly. But with the Central American countries, we don't have the same type of protocols. I know that. I just sat down with the ambassador, and I've talked to the other ambassadors. We got to set those protocols so we can return the kids back to their countries. Because if we don't send a message, the numbers are going to increase. In 2009, there were 6,000 kids that came over without parents. 2013, there were over 25,000. So far this year, over 66,000 kids with no parents coming in. It breaks your heart.
And it's so unacceptable, too. And it's unfair to all sides. And you don't know who's coming into our country. Now, you have a situation at the moment where in these Central American countries like Guatemala and Honduras, the word has gone out. Once you make it to the United States, it's a one-way ticket. You get to stay there. And what you support, if I understand you clearly, is to send the message that it's not a one-way ticket. Now, Joe Biden's visiting some of these countries this week. Do you know if he's prepared to deliver that message?
I don't know. I hope he does that, and he works with them to make sure they get this message. The only message that they're getting right now is from the smuggling organizations that say, hey, get over here. If you're from Central America, they're going to let you go. Remember, this is not a Mexican problem because over 75% of these people coming over are people from Central America. And basically, we have a Cuban policy de facto. That is, if they come in, they're going to give you a piece of paper and you're going to be released. In my hometown of Laredo, the last two weeks, they've released over 2,300 people at the bus station in the valley where I represent the lower part of the Rio Grande. Over